Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Tom Spark Reviews. Today we're checking out another VPN in our VPN review lineup. This VPN today we're checking out is called VPN.AC. For VPN.AC, we're going to be checking it out in 6 different categories, that being
pricing, application, speeds, reputation, support, and extra services.
So first, guys, we're talking about pricing, right? So VPN.AC has pretty standard to pretty good pricing. For 1 month, it's $1. For 3 months, $24. I do like how there's a 3-month plan. For 1 year, it is $58. And for 2 years, it's $90. I do like that they're not pushing a crazy 3-year plan, trying to get people into very long kind of commitment plans. I do like, later on we'll cover more about extra features, but you do get 6 simultaneous connections with VPN.AC, which is a good deal. I also like how there is like a 7-day kind of free trial with VPN.AC, which is also cool. Actually, scratch that. It's a little bit confusing because it's like a trial, but it's not really a trial because you do have to pay $2. But I do like that you can pay $2 and the trial is limited to 3 simultaneous connections, so just keep that in mind. I also want to kind of discuss a little bit about VPN.AC. We'll kind of cover this a little on later, as well as some reputation. But in terms of the pricing, I like how they don't offer lifetime subscriptions, and even their website has a very good write down on why. So if you're wondering like why shouldn't I buy a lifetime VPN, this is a good example and a good explanation. No, such pricing types are part of a questionable business model similar to Ponzi schemes. Newcomers pay for service use of existing customers. To put it simply, it relies solely on overselling, short-term profit, and marketing gimmicks. We do not engage in overselling our services. We want to make sure that our network capacity and overall quality of our service is and remains constant. So, lifetime is one thing, but I also think that 3-year plans kind of qualify in the same kind of vein as lifetime subscriptions, because 3 years is a long time, right? So I think that NordVPN is definitely doing this. They do have, they are trying to oversell their VPN. A lot of people notice that after a couple months, the service isn't quite the same. So this could be that they're, restricting the service later on, as well as various other marketing gimmicks. So if you see a VPN really overselling itself, it's probably not a good idea. And the same with Windscribe. They have a kind of a pricing scheme where you can like buy one server a month for like $1. To me, that seems too good to be true. It doesn't really seem sustainable. It's a cool idea, but I don't think it's sustainable. So VPN.AC, pretty standard pricing plan, pretty legit in my opinion. Anyways, for pricing overall, 4 out of 5. So what about VPN.AC's application? Well, it's kind of cool. It actually has a dark and light theme, which is actually pretty cool. It has kind of cool buttons that let you check the IP leaks and connection logs and stuff like that. One thing is that it is going to collect connection logs, so we'll talk about that a little bit more in perhaps like reputation. But it is going to collect minor forms of logs that they say they kind of clear one day after another. But in terms of the actual application, it's pretty standard, and you have these different auto connect features. The application does have some pretty good customization in terms of the advanced settings. You could customize the protocol going between different OpenVPN encryption rates, which is actually pretty cool. I think that's not seen very often, and now some people would argue it's not very useful to use 128, but depending on your computer, maybe it could be helpful. In terms of the port, you do have a lot of ports to choose from, which could help you get around restrictions with VPN. We do see a kill switch and some security features. Overall, I do really like the app. It's a good app. Pretty easy to navigate. It hasn't been very buggy for me. Connections work really well. One thing I do kind of wish it had is some other features that maybe make it a little bit more unique and stand out. I do kind of wish I had some anti-ad kind of features in there. We see this from private internet access, and with Windscribe has Robert, and TorGuard also has some anti-ad stuff. So it would be good to see that included in the feature. But overall, it's a pretty standard, pretty good application, 4 out of 5. Now, in terms of speed tests, VPN.AC performed very well. So this leads me to the conclusion that they're probably pretty good for browsing and streaming and stuff like that. Overall, not a bad speeds, pretty good, I would say, similar to Windscribe pretty much. So they're pretty high up there, beating out some other more expensive VPN providers. In torrent tests, they perform just, okay again. A lot of VPNs kind of perform pretty similarly to me, kind of similar design. It leads me kind of conclusion that most VPNs do kind of have overloaded servers a little bit, not as much bandwidth available. I think that's one reason why TorGuard VPN is faster than most of the VPNs out there, is they just simply have more bandwidth for the users. So overall, speeds are just kind of middle of the line, but decent enough. Better than some other VPNs I've tested on the channel. So 3.5 out of 5. Last up, guys, we do want to talk about the extra services for VPN.AC, and I'm going to give this 5 out of 5 here. They do work with Netflix, which is good to see. They didn't work with Netflix in the past, which was not good to see, but now they seem to work with Netflix without needing to pay anything extra, which is always very good. Now, since it is a smaller VPN, I think that's one reason it's working that way. I just picked a random server and it seemed to work just fine, so it's a good option for Netflix. Not only that, but I do like how they include 6 simultaneous connections, as I talked about before. They also do have various extensions you can use for browsers and stuff like that. Next up for VPN.AC is a reputation category. Now, as always, this is a little bit of a tricky category to kind of rate the VPN on, but for VPN.AC, I'm going to give them 3.5 out of 5. Now, why is that? Well, they do collect some logs, and you could check on the website if you want more information about that. Another thing is I do like that they do have a good reputation, and for the most part, they have a pretty transparent website, pretty transparent copy explaining their service and rationalizations behind their service and why they are doing what they do. There hasn't been any like huge reputation scandals. They haven't really come after me personally, like some other VPNs, so that's always good to see. They don't really email me a lot or advertise a ton. Overall, they have a pretty solid kind of plain reputation. One thing that did kind of bug me though a couple years back, they kind of gave me some feedback on some of the articles that I wrote in on. I was talking about how at the time VPN.AC didn't work with Netflix, and they kind of wanted to censor me. They kind of wanted to put that, that they are not to be included in an article if they don't work with Netflix, even though they didn't, which is a little bit weird. Not only that, but they kind of had some weird feedback on some of my stuff. I remember at the time I was a little bit annoyed that they didn't have live chat, and I kind of wrote that in my review. They came back saying they did have live chat, but I've never seen it really operating on their website. Not only that, but I was kind of annoyed that they didn't have an iPhone client yet for the App Store. They were saying, oh, well, Apple doesn't have an open API for LTP IPsec or whatever. But at the time, every other VPN was having it as well. And while OpenVPN, is a lot, can't be used, right, there are workarounds nowadays, and they did end up getting their app eventually. So I don't really know what they were trying to tell me back then. Overall, they were just being a little bit kind of weird about it, and I don't know. They're cordial enough. I don't want to hate on them too much. It's always kind of annoying to me when a VPN is kind of trying to get me to remove content on my website. That's just my opinion, though. 3.5 out of 5, pretty decent reputation. Now, VPN.AC is kind of a smaller VPN provider. I haven't ever seen live chat on their website. They say they do have live chat, but again, I haven't seen it on there. They do seem to have, decent tickets and stuff like that. They've responded to me in the past. Overall, though, it's just kind of middle of the line. I'm going to give them around 2.5 out of 5 just because they don't really have live chat as much as they say, and they definitely could put more effort into the support departments. All right, guys, so VPN.AC's final rating is 3.75 out of 5. This gives it a good VPN rating, recommended. Anything 3 or above is going to be recommended for pretty good use. It's a pretty solid VPN, and I've kind of not really covered it too much in the last couple of years. But anyways, overall, it's a pretty solid VPN provider. It's definitely going to be up there on my list, right behind Windscribe. So right now, it's going to be ranking number 3 in terms of the VPN ratings. Go ahead and check the link down in the description down below if you want to check out VPN.AC. But stick around for the channel for more VPN reviews in the future, where I'm going to be adding to the VPN ranking list. And who knows, maybe you'll see your top VPN getting a high ranking one day. Or maybe it will be a low ranking. Why did I buy this? Why did I buy this? It looks pretty cool on camera. Maybe this will be a thumbnail.